Welcome to the first episode of Sports Paws. I'm here alongside Dylan Fearon. We've got a lot to cover for you today. On this first episode, the men's soccer upperclassmen have some unfinished business after losing to Fairfield in the MAC tournament semifinals last year. We'll show you how they started the season.
And after 20 years at the helm of Quinnipiac Athletics, Jack McDonald has moved on and there's a new athletic director in town. Who is it? You'll find out.
And we'll fill you in on the rest of the stories you missed over the summer. It's safe to say the Q30 sports team covered them all.
And as always, we will show you the top 5 plays of the week. Sports Paws starts right now. It's been a hot summer in Hampton, but after 3.5 months, we are back.
That's right, Dylan. The students are back, the athletes are back, and Sports Paws is back. I'm Carolyn Fales. Welcome to our first show of the semester.
And I'm Dylan Fearon. Carolyn, you just said it. The men's soccer team headed to Storrs, Connecticut for an in-state battle with UConn. Let's jump right in. Carolyn?
Heading right to the highlight, Dylan. The last time Quinnipiac played in Storrs was in 2013 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They lost then. What'll happen this time? Late in the first half, Oscar Evans crosses to James Greco. He'll put a shot on Scott Levine. It won't go in. 0-0 to start the game. In the start of the second half now, Kwame Awua takes a shot on Tristan Henry. Henry will tip it wide. Still 0-0. Awua had 5 shots on the game, the most out of anyone on the field. Later in the second half, Frederick Janssen crosses to Mustafa Sam. He misses wide, still 0-0, so we're going to overtime in this game. Sold out field at Storrs in the first overtime. Alex Sanchez crosses to Jake Nerwinski. He volleys to Kwame Awua. He misses wide again, going into a second overtime now. In the second overtime, a little tussle between the two teams. They're not happy. There's a lot of passion on that field. They want to get a score going. Second overtime, they need to make something happen. Jake Nerwinski will get a foul and a yellow card off of this. With 4:30 left in the second overtime, a free kick shot from Mustafa Sam. A save by Tristan Henry. The game ends at 0-0 in double overtime. There were some defensive breakdowns for the Bobcats during this game. In the first half, James Doig gives away to UConn. Thiem Abdu, Frederick Janssen takes the ball forward in the second half as well. Mikhail Ellis tries to pass back, and Toby Esch is forced to kick it out. You can see Tristan Henry, the goaltender, not happy about this one. Also in the second half, Mikhail Ellis attempts a pass. It's taken away by UConn's Mustafa Sam. So like I said, Dylan, this game will end 0-0. We're going to take it now to Coach Eric DaCosta after the game.
We constantly talk about trying to elevate our program to that next level, right? That next tier. And games like today, games like Boston College, games coming up like St. John's and Brown, these are games that we want to make sure we not only compete, but we have opportunities to win in order to round that corner. So I don't think there was anything lingering from this group. I mean, we've had, 5 new guys in the starting lineup and 3 of them freshmen. So, they don't remember last year or the year before. So I just think it's an opportunity for our players to grow and mature. And, we, like I said, keep talking about our responsibility to elevate the program. And these guys are taking that responsibility seriously.
Then a couple of days later, Brown would go to Hampton. It's Brown QU. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. It's Brown's season opener. Let's get right to the action. First half now. Tarika Keel of Brown is going to put it in the box. No one's going to get a good flick on it. But look at this. Tristan Henry, the goalie of QU, is going to fall funny and awkward on his left side. Take a look again at the slow motion. You're going to see him fall awkward on that ankle. The trainers would look at the UConn transfer, but Henry would stay in the game. Later now in the first half, Quinn English with a deep throw into the box. Jack Hagstrom's going to collide with Tristan Henry. Bro, that's Armani. Get off. Throws him down to the ground. A yellow card for Henry there. He'd stay in the game, but little fight there. We go to the second half at 0-0. James Greco would get sent off for Quinnipiac early in the second half, and that's when Brown would capitalize as Akil with the pass to Matthew Chow, who scores his first goal of the season. It's 1-0 Brown. Then just 30 seconds later, look at this. From midfield, the pass goes to Butler. Henry's going to come out, but he kicks it right to Brown. He's in bad position here, and now it's Carl John Mix going to chip it over Henry right to Tariq Akil, who flicks it on with his head into goal. It's now 2-0 Brown. Quinnipiac could not get anything going offensively in this game. Brown would go on to win 2-0. Here's Eric DaCosta post-game.
Everything. Yeah, it's September 4th. There's you come into a fall season, you have 2 weeks of preseason, and you start playing competitive games. So, for us, we're working for October. So the entire month of September and a couple weeks of August that we've been in camp, we're a work in progress, and we're going to continue to approach it that way. So we still have a lot of work to do. Every team in the country has a lot of work to do. We're going to make sure that we focus on us and get better.
So Dylan, a tie and a loss for the men's soccer team this past week. A big part of the team this year is defender Toby Esch. Q30 Sports newbie Josh Silverman sat down with the captain to talk about the team's chemistry this year.
Thank you for being here today. So after finishing strong last year, did you guys have a certain sort of mentality coming into this year?
First of all, thanks for the interview. And obviously, after winning the MAC Championship or the MAC League title for 2 years in a row, winning the MAC Championship 2 years ago, the expectations are rising, and we come here to win the championship, win the league. Like, it hasn't changed much, but we want to elevate the program in the long run. So obviously, every year the expectations increase.
And then so obviously Borja isn't here this year. How has your chemistry been working with the new goalie, Tristan?
Tristan's been here. We've been fortunate enough to have Tristan here since the spring. So like, we've been already working together. Unfortunately, I personally haven't because I was injured. But everyone knows Tristan, like what kind of guy he is. And I think the biggest thing he brings to the team is that he wants to win all the time. You know, he came from a program where he won 2 national championships at Herkheimer and then went to UConn, a top program in the nation. So he's here to win titles. And like, it's a different communication than Borja did, but he's communicating with the team. Everyone likes him. He's the guy that people like. So far it's going really well.
And then so what about your chemistry in terms of moving the ball up to the midfielders and setting the ball up? Has that been where you guys want it to be?
Of course, as you can tell, against Brown we didn't play the way we wanted to play. We have to put a lot of work in that, but against UConn, we had time at the ball, we were playing forward, we're getting into the midfield, but we're just not getting as dangerous in the final third. I guess we're still kind of nervous, and we have a lot of new guys up top. Obviously, that's not an excuse, but we have to work on that. But if we keep working on that, we can play out of the back, we can play in the midfield, and as soon as we're getting comfortable with that, we will be able to get in the final third.
Right, okay. And then so what have you guys seen that you're continuing to work on that you guys have been doing really well these past couple of games?
I would definitely say the defensive part has been good, the shape has been good, especially along the back four and in the defensive midfield against UConn. Like, I have to point out that game a lot because we had good shape there defensively. And I think so far, since we worked on the defense a lot, that's the part that's been strong so far, and we build up from there because the defense is what's going to win us the championship.
Do you have any personal goals for this year?
I mean, I want to win the MAC championship. Like, I don't really have individual goals. Obviously, I want to play every game. I might want to score a couple of goals, but mainly I want to win with the team because at the end of the day, no one cares what you did individually as long as you win the championship with the team. Like, in 20 years, no one will ask, oh, did you win the MAC Defensive Player of the Year? They will ask you if you won a championship or no.
You can check out the full interview with Toby on Q30television.com later this week. After 20 years with Quinnipiac, athletic director Jack McDonald retired and then accepted a new job at the University of New England. Greg Amodio took over the position starting in July. Over the summer, Dylan sat down with Q30 Sports' Maury Hirschgordon to discuss the change in the Quinnipiac front office.
Dylan, we have a special guest on the phone right now, Steve DiMaselli, the co-founder of thepointofpittsburgh.com. He covers basketball all over. Steve, thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
So, Steve, you know, what's the buzz going around Pittsburgh right now and the greater Duquesne community now that he is at Quinnipiac and he's out of Pittsburgh?
Greg Amodio was kind of a divisive guy in Pittsburgh. Didn't always fare too well with the media, wasn't always well liked by them. Certain fans, weren't big on him either. It really did seem like if you didn't like him, though, you liked what he was doing a lot. But it's really kind of a mixed reaction today, I'd say. Some really, some rejoicing, some people, pretty worried about the future. So.
Greg, you mentioned that the media wasn't really in favor of Amodio, and Maury mentioned at the beginning that he's an aggressive athletic director. What strengths can he bring from the Atlantic 10 to Quinnipiac?
He has, throughout his time at Duquesne, gotten the most out of his resources. He's a very good at optimizing the athletic department. He really modernized it. He's creative. He thinks outside of the box. While he didn't do great with every single donor that it was at Duquesne, he did cultivate some new relationships that weren't there before he arrived.
Steve, as you mentioned, a lot of people and the media can kind of look at Greg and think, he's not really suitable for an athletic director position. But with his experience and when he comes to Quinnipiac. Is he suitable? Does he have that experience to cut some teams in order to make room for financial improvements and cut some head coaches, fire some head coaches?
Well, I mean, I'd say he definitely has a track record for that. You know, he cut 5 sports at Duquesne fairly early on in his tenure, including baseball. He was actually out in front of a lot of other Northeastern athletic directors in that, you know, there's quite a few others that have moved on from baseball since. And I think that in some ways they followed his model. As far as coaches go, I mean, he probably underwent one of the more controversial moves that Duquesne basketball has seen in a long time when he's fired head coach Ron Everhart, who enjoyed a reasonable level of success. He took the team to one NIT, you know, generally had a winning record in the Atlantic 10, not necessarily in the Atlantic 10, but in general, took the team to a mid-level Atlantic 10 team, which is something that we haven't seen for some time. They didn't think it was good enough. They thought he had plateaued. The program wasn't advancing, so he didn't really hesitate when T.J. McConnell decided to transfer and ultimately end up at the University of Arizona, that maybe it was time to move on. But yeah, I do think that he has the willingness to make the decisions that aren't necessarily going to be popular, but are probably going to be the best for the program in the long run. It still remains to be seen whether Jim Ferry is going to be the guy to take Duquesne to the next level, the one that they didn't necessarily think Ron Everhart was going to be able to take him to. But yeah, he is willing to put his neck out there, I guess, would be a good way of saying it.
Amodio's first big move was not renewing women's lacrosse coach Danny Caro's contract. Caro and Quinnipiac parted ways after back-to-back 2-win seasons. The transition from the Northeast Conference to the MAC proved to be challenging for the squad and coaching staff. It is yet to be seen if Amodio will continue to make changes to teams that underperform.
It's time to take our first break, but when we return, we'll talk about the women's soccer team and the new faces Dave Clark brought in, including a 16-year-old from Canada. All that and more coming up next on Sports Paws.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services, from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
That was then, this is now. Don't be just a number.
Hello, welcome to Chameleon.
At Chameleon Hair Color Cafe and Spa, it's all about what makes you feel beautiful. Their professional team is dedicated to helping you reach your customized beauty goals from your head to your toes. Chameleon Hair Color Cafe and Spa, where it's all about what makes you feel beautiful.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike's sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. The last 2 years have not been kind to the women's soccer team, but head coach Dave Clark has brought in a slew of new players to improve his squad. One of those players is 16, yes, that's right, 16-year-old Nadia Gill from Canada. Gil's made a huge impact already, scoring 3 game-winning goals in her first 4 career games as a Bobcat.
First game, take me through that last play, what you saw when you're crossing midfield. Just kind of take me through it all.
I saw my teammate going out to the corner. Dave always tells us low and hard across the net, and it was coming. I was prepared. It was a beautiful pass, and it was an easy tap-in for me. It was a whole team effort.
You know, I've been hearing a lot of things about the 16-year-old, talk about how, despite how young you are, like your talent is still there to play at the Division I level and, succeed like you did today.
It's definitely a challenge being younger, especially the fact that everyone knows it. But again, the team's just so friendly and welcoming. They've been able to help me through every obstacle that I've overcome so far. And skill and talent for me, it's hard work, it's practice, and if you're good enough, you're old enough.
So Quinnipiac versus Vermont, we're Virtue Field. Catamount TV was on the call. Let's go to the boys.
Match here at Virtue Field. Nice ball through. Here's Pelletier, gets a touch, and Quinnipiac has the game's first goal. Alex Pelletier's first career goal for the freshman out of Cheshire, Connecticut. Perfectly weighted ball through. Streaking toward goal. She has a try here. Flipping it wide. Here's Baroka toward the byline. Centers, open, and a goal. It's Nadia Gill. She was onside. It's her 3rd goal this season.
Take a second here. Right place, right time. Baraka's going to slide it in. Gill just taps it in. She's getting that dirty money like Jordan Belfort. 2-1 Quinnipiac in overtime.
Now we'll bring in soccer analyst Tom Cunningham to discuss each team's chances this season.
Tom, how you doing?
I'm very good, guys. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with the men's team. No goals in over 400 minutes of play. Michelle Baker was on the team last year, great goal scorer, no longer on the team. What is this team going to do offensively?
Well, yeah, you said it, Dylan. 400 minutes and they still haven't scored a goal. This team's going to have to get something going. But it was interesting, in the 2-0 loss against Brown on Friday, Coach Eric DaCosta in his post-game interview still stuck true that this team needs to start on the defensive end. They need to stay strong with their back line, with Toby Esch, Stevenson Hockey, and Eric Panzer and Nick Lazowitz. And that's where this team, everything's going to start for this team. And then you go up to the midfield, guys like James Greco and James Doig as well. Doig missed the game against Brown, so he's going to have to get healthy for this team in order to get things going through the midfield. And they need someone to step up and fill the void left by Michelle Baker when he left last year. Team's leading goal scorer. Someone I look at to do that is Rashawn Daly. He's a freshman, bigger body out there for this team, like Michelle Baker. Maybe not as strong as Michelle Baker, but he's still got the speed and the size to put the ball in the back of the net.
All right, Tom. So Borja Goita was crucial to this team last year in goal. How is Tristan Henry going to step up to fill that void?
Well, first things first is Tristan Henry is not Borja Goita. Borja Goita is a program changer. He came in, he has the most all-time wins in this program, most shutouts this program has ever seen. And Tristan Henry has done a very nice job so far stepping in. Henry was won the 2012 and 2013 men's soccer junior college championship. And then he transferred to UConn last season before coming to Quinnipiac this year. And Henry has played very well. The team, they don't have any wins to show for it, but they've played some tough competition. They played Boston College, who's in the ACC, one of the power conferences. They've also played UConn, where Henry held the Huskies scoreless. And the last 2 #1 overall picks in the MLS draft have come from UConn. So these 2 programs that Henry has played against, they're going to be tough for any goalkeeper, especially someone who's still trying to get acclimated to this new system in Quinnipiac.
Henry looked good against his former team, Tom. Now let's move to the women's team. They have relied heavily on their goalkeeper, Natalia Grodzki. The offense has been lagging the last couple of years. Now it's looking very good. How does the improved offense help her?
Well, Natalia Grodzki, she's been relied on heavily in Dave Clark's system these last couple of years. This team, they come into this year not scoring above, averaging over a goal a game since 2011. Last season, this team just averaged 0.6 goals a game. That's going to put a lot of pressure on your goalkeeper to keep you in games, keep it no goals, 1-goal games. And it's something that Grodzki didn't really thrive under the pressure. This year, her offense is really carrying her. They've already scored 7 goals in just 4 games this season. They scored 11 all of last season. So with the offense picking up the pace and scoring a lot more goals, it's going to take some of the pressure off of Grodzki and allow her to keep her team in the game. Grodzki already has a shutout this season. She only had one all last season as well.
All right, so now, Tom, will this team be able to keep up this caliber of play for the rest of the season?
Well, Dave Clark brought in 12 freshmen this year. Bring in 12 freshmen, you never know what you're going to get. You're going to get up and down play. Nadia Gill, like you guys have mentioned, she's only 16 years old. She's off to a very hot start, but I don't know if that's something that you can. I don't know if you can run your whole offense through a 16-year-old and expect things at the Division I level to stay this hot. While yes, I do agree. I do think that these freshmen are going to have an impact this year. They're already scoring goals. They're getting on the scoring sheet. They're helping this team a lot, but I think it's going to come down to players like Jess Fontaine and Amanda Baroka to keep carrying this offense, and Natalia Grodzki staying strong in net, because I don't know how much faith you can put in 12 freshmen this early.
Good points, Tom. Thank you, as always. We'll switch gears now to women's rugby. Coming off a 9-5 season last year, the women's rugby team opened this year with a matchup against Notre Dame College. The Bobcats came away with a 41-10 win over the Falcons. Coach Carlson's squad broke the Falcons' 10-game winning streak. The Falcons hadn't lost since October 2014. Sophomore Alana Mayer and freshman Emily Roscoff both had impressive runs and helped the Bobcats to their first victory of the season. They'll take on Army later this week.
Former rugby standout Natalie Costco is currently training to make the U.S. Olympic team in 2016 in Rio de Janeiro. Costco finished her junior year this past spring before dropping out of school to focus on the Olympics. While at Quinnipiac, Costco was a two-time All-American and was named the Under-20 Rugby Player of the Year in 2013 by Rugby Magazine.
And Dylan, the field hockey team took on nationally ranked UConn last week in Stores. The Huskies dominated the matchup early on, scoring 4 minutes into the game. Charlotte Vettner netted 3 goals for UConn, and Casey Umstead added 3 of her own. The Bobcats struggled all day and would go on to lose to the Huskies 7-0. After falling to UConn, Quinnipiac faced off against Yale. Let's go to that highlight, Dylan. So facing off against Yale for women's field hockey, trying to come back from that 7-0 loss against UConn. Early in the first half, Angie King will get this shot off the setup. She'll take the shot. It will go wide. 0-0 for the Bobcats early on. Trying to get on the board early. In the first half again, Carol Middow takes a shot on Megan Conaboy. Megan Conaboy will make the save. In the first half again, Haley Schwartz shoots off a corner. Savannah Riley will tip that one in past Yale. Now it's 1-0 for the Bobcats. Megan Conaboy will make a beautiful save here on Lily Smith, a diving save. She'll make sure it's still 1-0. In the first half again, Angie King will score off a corner. She's assisted by Megan McCullough, making it 2-0 for the Bobcats. They're excited about this. They want to get their first win, but Yale's looking to come back. Early in the second half, Nicole Wells will pass to Carol Middow. Middow will score and put it in past Conaboy right here, giving them 1 point. So Quinnipiac will go on to win this one 2-1. Here's head coach Becca Main after the game.
You win with experience and you win with poise, and we actually have a group of introverts, so they stayed calm, and you saw Yale kind of get crazy on us, and we actually stayed calm. We did come back on our heels, which can sometimes bite you, but that DPC unit, our defense penalty killing unit with Meg Conaboy, that group, they did that against UConn, top ranked on Friday. They understand how to read corners and read plays, and it really made all the difference for us today because they did dominate us in corners. So for us, leadership, senior leadership and junior leadership for us was huge today.
When we come back, we'll fill you in on the 2 former Quinnipiac basketball players who signed professional contracts over the summer. And later, we'll take you through the top 5 plays in Quinnipiac athletics this week. Not going to want to go away. Stay with us.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services, from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
That was then, this is now. Don't be just a number.
Hello, welcome to Chameleon.
At Chameleon Hair Color Cafe and Spa, it's all about what makes you feel beautiful. Their professional team is dedicated to helping you reach your customized beauty goals from your head to your toes. Chameleon Hair Color Cafe and Spa, where it's all about what makes you feel beautiful.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Qcash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Welcome back. The men's basketball team made a couple of changes within their coaching staff this summer. Scott Burrell left his assistant coaching position to become the head coach at Southern Connecticut State University. Burrell also took Director of Basketball Operations Mike Papale with him, leaving 2 openings in the Bobcats coaching staff. So who stepped in? Enter Tony Newsom and Mark Fogel. Newsom is a new assistant coach whose last job was an associate head coaching job at Fairfield, while Fogel was an assistant at Odessa Junior College in Texas. Bobcats take the floor for the first time on November 13th against Sacred Heart in the Connecticut 6 Classic.
Former men's basketball guard Evan Conti signed his first professional deal with the new Israeli team Hapoel Be'er Sheva. Conti is no stranger to Israel. He holds dual citizenship with the country and America. Prior to inking his first professional deal, he played in 2 Maccabi games for Israel. Conti's former teammate Justin Harris also signed a contract to play professionally, but with BK Iskra in Slovakia. Although Harris didn't play much in his first 3 years at Quinnipiac, that all changed last year when he posted career highs in points, rebounds, and assists. Harris's first game with BK Iskra will be on October 3rd.
Several members of the men's hockey team attended development camps over the summer.
Senior goaltender Michael Gartig attended the Boston Bruins development camp. The Prince George native recorded his second 20-win season last year with a record-breaking 5 shutouts. During the camp, Gartig faced shots from members of the Bruins organization as well as other camp invitees. He told Q30 Sports after attending the camp that his main goal this year would be to get his team a national championship.
Rising junior Sam Annis participated in the New York Islanders development camp this summer. It is his 3rd NHL camp he has been to, as Potomac, Maryland product attended the Washington Capitals and Montreal Canadiens camps the previous 2 summers. As a sophomore, Annis had 23 goals and 16 assists to lead the Bobcats with 39 points as the Bobcats reached the NCAA tournament for the 3rd straight year.
Sophomore Landon Smith attended the Colorado Avalanche prospects camp. The forward had 16 goals and 15 assists in his freshman season. It wasn't a far drive for Smith, who grew up in Greenwood Village, Colorado.
And junior Tim Clifton attended the Montreal Canadiens camp. 2014-15 season, Clifton played in 37 games for Quinnipiac, netting 9 goals and assisting on 8. With Matthew Pekka having graduated, Clifton will be called upon to step up for Quinnipiac and Rampecknold. First game for Quinnipiac is against St. Thomas University on October 4th.
And Dylan, rounding out our list is junior defenseman Devon Taves, who attended the New York Islanders development camp. The Islanders selected the British Columbia native in the 4th round of the 2014 NHL draft. Taves posted 20 points in 31 games last year with Quinnipiac. And 2015 will be the inaugural season for the National Women's Hockey League. The league consists of 4 teams: the Boston Pride, the Buffalo Beauts, the Connecticut Whale, and the New York Riveters.
Several Quinnipiac hockey players have signed deals. The NHL's first games will be on October 11th. Back in June, former Quinnipiac goaltender Chelsea Layden signed with the Connecticut Whale. Layden was one of the first players the Whale signed, who will play in Stanford about an hour away from Quinnipiac. Layden also had a historic career in Hamden, posting a career save percentage of .923 and a goals against average of just 1.56. She holds the program record for lowest single-season goals against average and has the Eastern College Athletic Conference's record for most shutouts in a season.
Cheyenne Darkangelo will join Layden as a member of the Connecticut Whale. In her junior season, Darkangelo led the team with 23 goals. The forward completed her career with 102 points in 144 games.
The most prolific player in Quinnipiac hockey history is continuing her career. Kelly Babstock signed a deal with the Connecticut Whale to become the 3rd former Bobcat to sign with the Whale. Babstock finished her career at Quinnipiac with 95 goals and 108 assists, good for 203 points, by far the most in program history. Babstock graduated Quinnipiac as the program leader in every offensive category.
And Morgan Fritz Ward will round out this list, signing not with the Whale but with the New York Riveters. Fritz Ward captained last year's squad to their first ever NCAA tournament appearance. The forward finished her senior season with 19 points in 38 games. Moving on to some fall sports news, the women's volleyball team traveled to Maryland for the University of Maryland Eastern Shore Invitational. The Bobcats came up short, losing all 3 of their matchups. They will try to improve their 1-5 record on Wednesday against Farley Dickinson. The men's and women's cross-country teams attended the Stony Brook Invitational this past week. Both teams came in 4th out of 6 teams. On the women's side, 6 of the top 7 finishers for Quinnipiac were freshmen or sophomores. For the men, senior Matt Menscher came in 6th place, tying his career best placement. Junior Dylan Fearon, who also happens to be my co-anchor today, placed 11th in the event, a career best for him, a full minute faster than his 2013 time in the same event.
Thank you, Carolyn. Let's get to the top 5 plays of the week in Quinnipiac athletics. I'll take the odds, you take the evens. Carolyn, at number 5, it's QU and Brown. We showed you the highlight earlier. It's going to be Tariq Akil making a nice run down the right side, forcing Tristan Henry to come out of the box and make a sliding tackle with his legs. He used to using his hands, Carolyn, had to use his legs here. Take a look at it right now. Great stop by the UConn transfer, but Brown would go on to win 2-0.
Now, number 4, QU Yale field hockey, not hockey. Megan Conaboy, we showed this earlier as well, makes a diving save against a Yale player. She doesn't want that ball getting passed.
Now, number 3, back to QU and Brown. This time it's Matthew Cho scoring his first goal of the season past the diving Henry. That was the first goal of the game. Brown, as we know, went on to win 2-0.
Coming in at number 2, men's soccer now versus UConn. Tristan Henry, he'll make 2 beautiful saves here. The first one, a tip out, and then UConn will come back at him. He'll make the diving save, push it out of bounds to protect for his team.
And the top play of the week in QU athletics, it's Nadia Gill, the 16-year-old from Canada. Amanda Brock on the right side, gonna put it in the great area, and Gill just had to tap it in, right place, right time for the freshman. That's her 3rd game-winning goal in just her 4th career game as a Bobcat. QU 2-1 over Vermont. Those are the top 5 plays of the week.
Definitely an impressive show.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. 1 showdown count, 11 more to go for the fall semester.
That's right, Dylan, and Sports Paws will have you covered for all of them.
Make sure you check out us at Q30television.com and follow us on Twitter at Q30Sports.
For Dylan Fearon, our producers, and all our new members, I'm Carolyn Fales. We'll see you next week.